Hey guys, Harris here. I'm holding in my hand right now what is most likely the most powerful and most expensive capture card currently available for you to buy, today. It's called the Avermedia Live Gamer Bolt, and the thing's pretty nutty. It's basically an internal 4K capture card, meaning it can do all the 4K capture card things, like capturing 4K 60 HDR or high frame rates like 1440p 144 hertz or 1080p 240 hertz. And it does all of this with less than 50. Good job. I need a new one. It's fine. I'm on carpet. Anyway, it does all this and it does it with less than 50 seconds of latency, and it's entirely bus power. It's an amazingly powerful card, and it should be, by the way, since it's priced at $450. But the question I had to ask when this showed up on my doorstep, which is, by the way, the same question I had to ask about the 4K 60S Plus, was why? Both these cards are vastly different, and I'm not going to be doing a deep dive on the two. If you want a complete deep dive on both of these, Epos Vox's channel does a couple really great ones, and he's gone way more into depth on both these cards than I am. I'll link to that video down below, but I can't say I've ever heard of anybody saying they wish they could capture those super high frame rates and resolutions on an external card. And for that small group of people who have wanted that, very few of them are actually going to be able to use this because it's not a USB capture card, it's a Thunderbolt card. You have to have Thunderbolt in order to get that massive throughput externally. And on top of that, you can buy Avermedia's internal 4K capture card, which literally does the exact same thing. You can get it for $199 and then also get an external PCIe housing that's Thunderbolt 3 based for also about $200. And you can literally make your own external 4K capture card for $50 cheaper. And by the way, I'm not like ragging on Avermedia's execution of this. It's a brilliant card. I felt the exact same way about Elgato. The use case for both of these is so limited. It's so niche that I feel like the real reason these cards were made is so that the company can say, look at us. We did it. We made the most powerful capture card on the market. We now have a whole lineup of capture cards from the simplest of 1080-60 all the way up to 4K 60 HDR. And it begs the question of where do we go next? What do you even release next? We've filled out the whole lineup. It's kind of been a trend I've noticed for the past year now. Up until like early to mid 2019, there have just been insane releases that have completely changed how streaming works. You've got releases like the Stream Deck that completely changed the way you control your stream and animations, or audio solutions like the Go XLR, which take incredibly complex situations like audio routing and put it in a simple package at the fingertips of people who don't need any specific training. But now that there's an amazing product in almost every category, for the last year or so, the releases have been kind of like hey, here's another USB mic that's exactly like all the other ones that have been released. Or here's a new webcam that actually doesn't look any better than previous webcams. Here is a smart light that's slightly smaller and slightly cheaper than the other really cool light we released last year. It just feels like we're releasing things just to fill in the gaps of what's missing. So I guess the question is, what's going to happen to these streaming companies? And what products do streamers need next? And I've got some ideas. Before we get started on that though, I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Owned.tv. Owned is your one-stop shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, whether it's overlays or panels or alerts or even profile pictures. And if you haven't heard me explain this before, you should know that their overlays are modular. So for example, if all of you and your friends pick up this Neon series overlay, none of you will have the exact same overlay because you can pick and choose different pieces of the overlay to put together. So if you'd like to make the smart move like many of the community have done, feel free to jump over to owned.tv, pick up an overlay package today. There's a link to that in the description down below that if you use, will support the channel. Also in return, if you want to get 40% off, feel free to use code ALPHA at checkout. And one more update, by the way, StreamBeats is blowing my mind right now. StreamBeats has passed 5 million plays, and I recently released 60 more songs. So now there are 180 songs and over 6 hours of chill, lo-fi beats for you to use in the background of your stream and using your YouTube videos with zero copyright issues, zero copyright strikes, demonetization, none of that stuff. And by the way, more music coming soon. So if you're looking for music to play in your streams or on your YouTube videos, Streambeats is available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere. Links in the description below. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff or anything I'm going to talk about in this video, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Link to my stream also in the description below. I feel like we've gotten to a point where any equipment you might need for a high quality stream is out there. Sometimes it's not available. You just try buying a webcam right now during the whole quarantine thing, but you get the point I'm trying to make. If you need amazing audio or lighting or capture any of these things, the equipment exists. And I feel with every new product being released, each one is slightly less impactful on the industry. And ironically, during this period where innovation started to struggle, I feel like the nature of streaming has entirely changed. Where, year and a half, 2 years ago, the common practice was to grind it out, be live 60 hours a week. And then it was about a year and a half ago when I was kind of the first person to say, hey, that doesn't really work anymore. What you need to be doing is making content on more discoverable platforms, building an audience, become a full-blown content creator. That's where it's going to go. Those are going to be the ones who succeed, and build your stream around that. And since then, that's kind of become the accepted path of success on any streaming platform. And while there are plenty of tools and products to make a professional stream, and there are plenty of tools and products to make good content, there is a gap there. The people over here who stream don't know how to do any of this stuff, and this stuff has become so professional that it's overwhelming. And I feel like the products that streamers need more than anything right now are products that will help them transition from simply a streamer to a full-blown content creator. They need simple content creation devices. So let me share with you a couple things that I would like to see released in the next year or two. The first one, and by far highest priority, I would like to see an incredibly simple video editor. I'm talking simpler than iMovie, which is, by the way, fantastically powerful software and super intuitive and easy to look at for new users, except it's just Mac only. I would like to actually see something like this based on a browser. No downloading necessary, open a website and edit your content right in there. Just something where a streamer can take a couple clips, cut them together, add some music and text or effects, add some really simple edits without all the thousands of extra features that just streamers don't need. And you know what? If after using it for a while, they decide they want those extra features, you can always upgrade to big boy software. At that point, you've had some practice on the simple stuff. You are confident enough to open up something like Final Cut or Premiere. But one of the big things holding streamers back from actually making video content is that learning to edit is super overwhelming. Video editing software is complicated, and if you don't know how to do it, and if you don't want to learn how to do it, you're just not going to. The footage that you saw while I was explaining it was actually footage from a previous video where I was suggesting that this feature be added to Twitch's website, a clip editor, so streamers can take clips, cut them up, and export them for tweeting. Something like this, whether it's done by a streaming platform themselves or a third-party streaming company like Elgato or Avermedia, it needs to be done. That would be a huge tool for streamers, and I think it would be a huge shift in encouraging new streamers to make content. The second thing I'd like to see change is kind of the camera sector right now. It really disappoints me. You either spend $150 or cheaper on a webcam that's just kind of meh. There's not really a good webcam out there. Or the next step in quality is buying a $500 camera with a $300 lens and then $200 in accessories just to get it to work with OBS. I would love to see something that's right in the middle there. Something that's basically a webcam with a lens mount on it. Throw a decent APS-C crop size sensor in there. No screen necessary. Both the signal and the power being delivered over USB-C, just like a webcam. And yes, something like this would still be more expensive than a webcam, but it would also be significantly cheaper than a full-blown point-and-shoot camera for photography, videography, and then you can use for streaming on the side. And I get why something like this hasn't really existed in the past, with the streaming market being so much smaller than general photography and videography. But I think of how much the broadcasting industry has grown, not only just with Twitch and Mixer and all those, but also podcasting. I think something like this could end up being a staple product for anybody looking to broadcast multiple angles for less than $2 to $3 grand. And the last thing I'm looking forward to seeing in this industry is everything just becoming much more affordable as more and more competitors enter the market. Right now, if you were to set up a dream stream setup, which, by the way, important note, you don't need a dream setup. In fact, I would even say that is the worst way to spend your money if you're trying to grow on Twitch. That being said, if you were to build a dream stream setup, it's gonna cost you $2,000 to $3,000, not including the streaming PC. For your average streamer with less than 20 subscribers, that's just not an option, and it's not responsible. This is why I'd like to see solutions like that video editor that can help streamers break that barrier into actual content creation, improve their income, and then build a sufficient stream to connect with the audience that they've built without breaking the bank. I'm curious if you have any opinions of things that you'd like to see released, as a streamer. Leave them in the comments down below, or of course, jump into my Twitch chat, hang out with me and talk with me about them there. Again, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Or jump into the Discord. We've got over 40,000 members in there, all streamers looking for new gear, looking for new ideas. And yeah, jump in there and make some friends. Talk about some ideas. And I hope this video doesn't fall on deaf ears. I hope this is where the industry goes soon. And as always, happy streaming.
We don't know what we're doing here.
You don't? I thought you knew what you were doing.
I mean, as much as anybody who looks something up on YouTube knows what they're doing. Like, I'm a YouTube licensed. I graduated in the school of YouTube haircutting.